when I started to connect to my mother wound, I got the same vision of a baby that was in the womb and that was suffering. And the baby was just like, or the fetus, right, was just like squirming in the womb. And I asked the medicine, like, who is that? And the medicine said, that's you.
So, welcome everyone back to the First Gen Healing Podcast. This is part 2 with Juriana. She is a Latina therapist that came onto the podcast to share with us about her story, and part of it included the mother wound. So, if you haven't listened to part 1, please make sure that you go do that. And so, we're going to get to hear about her story with plant medicine. And I love that you kind of led with there was these dreams that started to happen, some powerful ones. So we'll kind of like continue from there. But anywho, I'll allow you to say hello. Sorry, Juriana, I've been talking. But hello, welcome. ¿Cómo estás?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm Juriana Hernandez, licensed marriage and family therapist, and also an embodiment coach.
Embodiment. I think you said you do breath work also.
I do breath work. Yes, I help with the mother wound and also the recovery of narcissistic abuse. So, and also the integration of sacred plant medicine. So, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Yes. And so we'll get to also talk about integration at the tail end of this episode. So please feel free to pick up from where we left off. And I'm just happy I'm here. I'm seated, ready to hear the rest of your story and experience.
Yeah. So we left off with the dream that I had with my mom, and then how she showed up 2 days after, and we had this conversation, this very powerful conversation. And after that, nothing really happened. I just kind of kept living, and I met a friend who actually came to me through work, and um, she's a very social person. She likes to go to a lot of events, and she had recommended that we go to an We All Grow Latina event. I went to this event, and at this event, I met Maritza. She actually came and sat right next to me. And I had already been following her on social media. We had been social media friends. And we just started having a conversation. From that conversation, I asked her if she had sat with sacred plant medicine. And she was a little bit shocked.
Who's Maritza, by the way? I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
Yes. So Maritza is a licensed therapist. She's a couples therapist, and she's been in the field for a long time. She's based out of Irvine, and yeah, so she was a colega, right? Someone that I had met on social media, and we started to have these conversations. We actually had a conversation with Adriana from Latinx Therapy and Claudia Melo.
Okay.
And they were, it was in that conversation where we kind of brought in some of like our thoughts around this. And so Maritza said to me, she's like, like what Juriana is saying kind of is in line with like how she views the world. And so that's when I asked her if she had ever sat with plant medicine. And she said that she had. And then not only that she had, but that she had a community that she had been going to for like quite some time, and that she was going to go back in December. And I had met her in October. So she invited me. She said, if you want to come, like you're more than welcome to come with me.
Yeah.
And I didn't hesitate whatsoever. Like once she made the invitation, I was like, yes. And so, she was the one that introduced me to the community in Colombia, the Yaugara family. And that's where I went, and I sat with Yahe. So ayahuasca, right, is like very popular, but also ayahuasca is also Yahe. And so I sat with that medicine. And yeah, it was, we can go more into detail of that, but that was like how I ended up sitting with Yahe.
Yeah, hey, okay. I know you said there was no hesitation, but were you nervous of what that experience was going to be like?
Yes, I mean nervous in the sense of like I'm doing something new. I don't know what to expect. It's something different. I'm going to like another country, right?
Yeah.
But also this is where like I was already connected to my spirituality, and then the way that it was
Mm-hmm.
happening, I trusted that I was being led here. So
Mm,
there was no mistake that Maritza came and sat right next to me. There was no mistake that we had had that conversation with Adriana and Claudia that then led me to ask Maritza, and then her inviting me to go there. And then
yeah.
also just the way that Maritza was preparing me for it. Like she basically booked the way that she booked the flights, she made it so easy so that I would even like go on the same flight with her and her husband.
Mm,
So I really felt like I was being held through the whole experience.
okay.
That I never really felt like I had to figure things out, or like she, if I ever had a question, she would like get on the phone with me and we would talk. And so I, yes, like there's always that nervousness, like you're going to try something new, but also like there was a lot of trust. I was putting a lot of
Mm,
trust in my faith, right? Like that I was already being led, and because I had been like in search of the medicine, and then also
yeah.
trust because like she was pretty much just like guiding me through the process.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ooh, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think I would love to hear what you feel comfortable sharing of the actual experience. And it sounds like you had maybe people around you that had maybe previous experiences. Did you find yourself asking other people, like, how is it? What should I expect? Were you more like, no, I don't want to know. I want to have my own experience with it? Maybe, yeah, how did you prepare yourself, leading up to it?
Yeah, no, I didn't ask people about their experiences. I mean, Maritza shared a lot about her own experience, which was like it was also like everybody, somehow I knew that everybody has their own experience with it. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just listening and taking it in, but then also knowing that it might look different for me. Um,
Okay.
Another thing that's like really important with this community is that prior to going, you meet with a guide. So a guide is someone that's been with the medicine for many years. And so for me,
Mm,
her name is Cynthia. So I met with her, and I had a beautiful conversation with her. And a lot of the things that she said, I knew about like
mm-hmm.
cognitively, but maybe not on an embodied level, right? So
Okay.
she was
Yeah.
sharing a lot of concepts at the time, right? Felt like
Mm-hmm.
concepts that were already in line with what I believed. So I knew that that was like the right path. And then I also met with Samuel, and Samuel is a plant medicine practitioner in Colombia. He serves the medicine. And
Okay.
he asked me, right, like, what's your intention? Like, why are you coming? Like, why are you seeking the medicine? And I
Yeah.
shared with him that it was because I have a mother wound and that I really wanted to do a lot of work around that. And again, just having that conversation with Samuel, and the way that he held me with so much
Mm-hmm.
compassion, but also held my mom, right, with so much compassion and love
Mm,
and grace. I knew that this was the right step for me. So it was those two experiences, even prior to being in Colombia, that for
mm-hmm.
me were like enough um, to go, right?
Okay.
Like I just being in their energy, connecting to their energy, and like being held already in what they were, um, just like how they are in the world. I already felt like, okay, this is for me.
And you had had this dream and this really healing conversation with your mom. So then, post that and prior to the ceremony, when you say like my intention was to work on my mother wound, did it take on a different form? Like, what was now the what you were hoping to get out of it?
Yeah, I think it was more of like I wanted to know more, like where did this start? Like, where did
Oh,
this
okay.
start and how is this connected? Because again, what triggered the spiritual awakening was a breakup. It was more of like, are these two things connected? Like, how is having a mother wound or like the relationship that I have with my mom connected to like my romantic relationships? So it was like
Mm,
those two things were tied together, and that was my intention in seeking the medicine.
mm-hmm.
Because I
Okay.
just wanted to know more about like where did this start and how. It was just like that curiosity.
I see. Okay. Well, I'm ready. Take us to to your experience.
Yes, and okay, so because it was my first time there, they ask you that you get there prior to ceremony. So in Colombia, ceremonies are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But if it's going to be your first time, they ask you to get there on a Wednesday so that you can like integrate into the environment. You can meet the people, like the other people that are going to be with you in ceremony. You
Mm,
can get acquainted to like the environment. Where the place is at or the retreat is in a finca, like up in the mountains of Colombia. You are surrounded by like nature, and
mm,
it's away from the city, and so it's a very
mm-hmm.
peaceful place. Like you just breathe differently there.
Wow.
And there's a whole like dieta that you do prior to get being in ceremony, like even prior to um, going there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so that starts like a week and a half before.
Okay.
And so I
Mm-hmm.
had started my dieta, and part of the dieta is that you can't have any like meat, as far as like anything from like a dead animal. Like you can eat chicken and fish, but like no pork, no carne, no meat,
Mm.
no alcohol, no, you can't have sex, and you can't be on your period. And
Oh, okay.
the reason why they don't want you to be on your period is because as women, we actually don't need the medicine when we
Mm-hmm.
are on our period, because that is when we are the most um, intuitive.
Mm.
And if you get there with your period, they won't even allow you into the retreat because we as women are so powerful that we can shift the energy of the collective. And so if
Mm.
you get there on your period, they ask you to they have other cabins there they have you stay there.
Okay.
And so for me, like I had all this information, and I'm going into detail about this period thing because I was supposed to get my period like 2 weeks before the
Mm-hmm.
retreat. And I actually ended up getting it like that Sunday. And I
Oh,
thought,
okay.
okay, I think I'll be fine. By the time that it's a ceremony, like it should be over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Maritza and myself are on the airplane, and I tell her, "Oh yeah, I'm on my period," and she says to me, "Juriana, they're not going to let you into the retreat." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "If you are on your period, you're going to have to stay like in a separate, not in the retreat area." I said,
Mm.
"Oh, okay." To that point, I didn't know that. Like now I'm sharing with you
Yeah.
all of this, but like I just thought,
Yeah.
oh, wow, okay. So then we get to Colombia, and I'm not able to go into the retreat where, like, like all the people stay, the medicine house, like where we have lunch and breakfast. Like, I wasn't able to go to Yaugara, the actual retreat. They had me
Mm.
in these cabins, and basically, I had to wait until I wasn't like menstruating anymore. So that was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was the first night of ceremony, and I was not allowed to participate because I was still like spotting just a little bit.
Mm. Oh my
And so
gosh.
I say this to you because my intention was to go heal my mother wound, right? And
Mm.
our womb is connected to our mothers. So there was no
Wow.
mistake that I was, I had my period
Mm-hmm.
even prior to being in ceremony, because what happened was like here I am now, like I'm in this cabin in the middle of like this forest, right? Jungle
Yeah.
forest by myself because now Maritza has gone over to the retreat and she's going to, be in ceremony. And I'm here by myself. And I'm just like so mad. I'm so mad and like at my womb. Like, why, why is this happening? Like, I've come this far and like, like, why is this happening? And as I'm asking these questions, I start to like get a lot of downloads and insight as to what my
Mm-hmm.
relationship has been with my womb, what my
Mm-hmm.
relationship has been with the guys that I've dated. And I started to like make a lot of connections, right? That I had always been disconnected from my womb. And
Mm-hmm.
so there was no mistake that I needed to have that moment of reflection to really connect to my womb by myself in that in that space to then to start to have more appreciation for it and to connect with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that and another big part of this is like in Colombia they don't even refer to our periods as like periods or menstruation. It's our
Mm-hmm.
lunita, right? Our
Oh,
lunita. It's so beautiful, right? In the way that they
yeah.
record it. And
Yeah.
I was so taken care of when I was there, like with the meals that they were giving me. Even Maritza sending me messages late at night saying, like, oh, your energy is here. Like, you're
Mm.
being thought of. Like, you're here with us too, right? Even though, like,
Mm-hmm.
physically I wasn't there, like, your energy is felt.
Mm.
Having some of the guides come over and, like, doing copal, like the copal cleansing, right?
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
having the Andrea, who's the wife of the Taita there, Diego, sending me over like a beautiful plant bath, right? Because once I was done, like
Mm.
my lunita, like here's this beautiful, and it smelled so wonderful because it has like flowers and all these
Wow.
plantitas. So I felt like I was being taken care of in so many different ways and so nurtured and so loved. And that
Mm.
also helped with my healing, right? Like as I
Yeah.
had spoken before, like I hadn't had that experience of like nurturance and love. And here, like these strangers are showing me so much love. And that also like helped with my healing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm. So, like, the layers are so powerful, right? Like, even just you expressing at first, I was angry with my womb, and then it was actually like the doorway. The fact that you had your period was the doorway to then feeling the nurturing you were desiring, which is kind of like we were talking about in part one in the beginning, where everything is for a reason. And if you allow yourself to open your mind, like, how is this for me and not against me? It all
Mhm.
kind of ties together, you know? So, how beautiful. And thank you for bringing all those little elements into it, you know, because they really give the full picture.
Yeah. And again, this ceremony, I hadn't even been in ceremony. I was having my own little ceremony, right? Basically,
Yeah.
um, by
Yeah.
myself. So that was that, right? And then finally Saturday I was able to go to the retreat, and I got to meet a lot of the people that were there, and there were a lot of like men at this retreat, and there was like I want to say there
Mm.
was more men than there was women, at least that
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
And just talking to them, but really not, right? Because I was still like, I felt a little bit like an outsider because I hadn't been
Mm.
there since Wednesday,
Yeah.
and now I'm coming in and on Saturday, and they've already gone through their first ceremony together. And so just kind of like treading lightly, just like feeling a little bit out of place and like very much in my head. Um,
Mm.
so something that they do in Yaugara is everyone like sits around the fire, right? And we do
Uh-huh.
this thing called the weaving of the word. And basically, it could start by Samuel, the plant medicine practitioner, or Andrea, who's the wife of the Taita, or Diego. Any of them will just like bring up a topic or like a theme, and they'll like start sharing from their heart on anything. And then they
Mhm.
open it up to everyone in the circle to share whatever their thoughts are around that specific theme.
Okay.
I was just really taking it in. I didn't really share much. I just was like, I was ready for ceremony. I was like, let's go.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, and so, yes, finally, like around 10 o'clock, they're like, okay, let's go up to the medicine house, and we go up this like hill up to the medicine house, and the medicine house is a very sacred place. It's divided. Like the women lay on one side, the men lay on the other. Right in front of us is the altar. We're not allowed to
Mm.
be by the altar. And then they have like hammocks, macas, right, for like the guides
Mhm.
to like lay there. And there's these beautiful murals there. And yeah, and so like everybody like finds their spot. There's like mats on the floor that we lay on. And you bring in all the things that you need to support you in ceremony. So um, some people will wear certain clothing, or they'll have like certain jewelry, or like certain things to just help them like really connect. And yeah, and then ceremony starts, and they start with like a prayer, and thanking the land, calling in our guides, our angels. Like there's a lot of respect in the ceremony. And then they
Mhm.
serve the medicine first to the men. Why they do that, I don't know,
¿Por
but they
qué?
do. Why, as women? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué primero ellos?
¿Por
Um,
qué? Okay.
and so, they go up to the altar, they get the medicine, the brew, el yajecito, you drink it, and then, you can go lay down. And then the girls go up, and we do the same. And after everybody has drank el yajecito, then it's quiet, so that you can connect with the
Mm.
medicine. And here at this
Mhm.
retreat, you can go up and get as much medicine as you want, or as you need, or as you're being called to.
Mhm.
And yeah, and so for me in ceremony, I had a very powerful experience. Part of what happens when you drink yahe is that it's normal to like
Mhm.
throw up, to go to the restroom, to feel sick. Like all of those things are normal. And
Mhm.
something to know is that the medicine doesn't give you like what you want, the medicine gives you what you need.
Yeah.
And so I say this because a lot of the times there's like this judgment around like your journey, or like, maybe you think you didn't get the messages or like the wisdom that you were looking for. But again, the
Mhm.
medicine always gives you what you need. And
Mm.
so the medicine gave me what I needed. And there was a lot of layers to what happened to me that first night in ceremony. But to connect it back to the mother wound, there was a woman that was like right next to me. I want to say like she wasn't right next to me. She was like one person over from where I was at. And I remember she was like really struggling. And I remember just asking the medicine. So something else to know is that uh, you can talk to the medicine, right?
Mm.
Telepathically.
Mhm.
So, like, you can
Mhm.
ask questions to the medicine, and the medicine will speak to you. And the medicine
Wow.
speaks to us in different ways. Like, it could be in thoughts, it can be in visions, it can be in like a bodily expression. It could also
Yeah.
be through messages from other people that are in ceremony with you. Or it
Mm.
also could be in how other people are doing their own healing.
Okay.
So the medicine there is working for all of us collectively. It's not like you're
Mm.
healing by yourself.
Mhm.
And so I say this because because this, this woman was having a really hard time. I asked the medicine, like, what's going on with her? And I got this vision of a little baby in the feet, in the womb.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, wow. And the baby was like struggling. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, right? But that was it. Like that
Mm-hmm.
was the only vision that I got for her, because I had asked the medicine, like, what's going on with her? Because she kept saying
Yeah.
that she had a pain, like right here in her belly button.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And actually, what had happened even prior to that was that when I started to connect to my mother wound, I got the same vision of a baby that was in the womb and that was suffering. And the baby was just like, or the fetus, right, was just like squirming in the womb. And I asked the medicine, like, who is that? And the medicine said, that's you.
Mm.
And at that moment, I just started crying, because it's like, I'm suffering in the womb. Why am I suffering? What's going on with my mom?
Yeah.
And I get a vision of my mom, and she's crying and she's really going through it. And the vision that I got was actually of a time that she speaks about a lot. And that's that when she first came
Mm.
to the States, she lived with my dad's family. And she always talks about how she had a really difficult time. And so when I
Mm.
see that image, I'm like, oh, she's suffering
Oh.
because of what's going on. She's living with my dad's family. And then I asked, where's my dad? Right. And he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't anywhere to be found in this vision that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that moment, I was grieving, right? Because I was
Wow.
grieving for myself, that was like suffering in the womb. I was grieving for
Yeah.
my mom because she was suffering and she was passing all of that down to me. And then I was
Mm.
grieving for my dad because like he didn't have like a voice to like speak up to his family. My dad's always been like a
Oh.
very passive person.
Yeah.
So I share all of this because for many years, right, I didn't know why there was like a disconnection between my mom and I. And in
Mm-hmm.
that ceremony, I got to learn that, she was passing down her own pain to me, like
Wow.
unintentionally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was just like she was suffering and she was
Yeah.
pregnant. And so that helped me have a lot of compassion for her experience.
Wow. Yeah, we never think we're absorbing that from the beginning, right? And that like those wounds, because maybe we're wanting to see memories of like where did this start memory wise, but to think like no, it even started when you were in the womb. So maybe her pain didn't allow her to connect with you emotionally, or maybe force her to reject you a little bit, or things like that that we would never imagine. Um, and then
Yeah.
you brought in your dad too, right? Like that there's an element of your dad of um, sometimes when we have these mother wounds or like these really strong mothers, there's also always this divine balance that isn't always like equal. And I have seen that reflected too, where like maybe when there is a mother wound, there can be a present father, but not always emotionally available or not always being playing a part. Maybe being permissive in a way or allowing for certain
Mhm.
things to happen. So, yeah, such powerful layers, I think, and ones that I think, in many stories are reflected, obviously in different ways, but similar as well, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so it was like in that experience that I got, that Yahe allowed me to see, right? In that vision, yeah, it was like that was the intention. Like, why do I have this mother wound, and why am I struggling in my romantic relationships? And like there it was. And also in the way that the men were showing up, the men, like the guides in Colombia, the taitas, Samuel, the practitioner, these are men that are connected to their divine masculine, divine feminine, right? And just in the way that I was
Mm.
being held and taken care of by them, there was so much that was being healed just in their presence, just being in their presence.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
there was so much that I was healing, and yeah, I mean, this is why I love sacred plant medicine, because it goes beyond like just it's not just a plant, right?
Yeah.
It allows us to tap into our unconscious. It allows us to tap into the unseen,
Mm-hmm.
and also to like bring us back to ourselves, because we ourselves are also spiritual beings, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we have just gotten disconnected. We get disconnected. And I believe that part of the human experience is to come back to that, to like, yes, there's going to be experiences where we're going to like experience hardship and suffering. That's part of like the human experience. But also, like, in those experiences, it allows us to come back to our spirit, to our soul, to who we really are. And this is
Mm.
why I say, right, that my soul's mission, like all of these experiences that I've had with my mom and my romantic relationships, they all brought me back to me, to my spirit. And that
Yeah.
in the process of these experience, we are actually expanding our soul. We're becoming more of ourselves. That's another like thing that we're here to do, to become more of who
Yeah.
we are. And so I share this because, you know, even with like, I'm going to bring it out of like the context of like my mother wound and like my relationships, but even like with what's happening in the world right now,
Yeah.
if we start to look at these experiences as like, okay, what is this teaching us? Where's the opportunity here? Again, that's going to allow us to come back to ourselves, to connect to ourselves, to our spirit. Um, then, you know, this is I don't know what else to say, but like this
Yeah.
is part of the process.
It's powerful. It's scary. I think what I've been seeing is like, as someone who's also on the path, um, it's almost like it's forcing us to root to ourselves and nothing else, because everything is volatile and changing and shifting. And so when we look for security and maybe things that felt so sure, right? Like maybe structures or organizations or just like whatever brought us peace in the past, it's changing and shifting right now, you know? And I think like then that reminder, when we ask like, oh my God, what's going to happen, da, 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 like also the reminder is like, okay, root in, you know, like have
Go within.
discernment, have belief. Yeah, go within, find peace there, you know, like can you come back over and over? Because it's easy to you know, maybe like using the word power, right? It's easy to outsource our power, you know, like, no, you tell me what to do, or no, you society, like tell me what are my options. And when those are all stripped away, I think it's like coming back to us, right? And then being like, okay, everything is chaos out there. How do I bring order from within? So it's
Yeah.
powerful, but it's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. And then to bring it back to that mother wound, as you're saying this, it's like, you know, looking for that love outside of me, right? Through my mom,
Mm,
through my relationships, and that spiritual awakening, like, and the medicine, right, brought me back to like you are the love, like I am the love,
mm,
right?
yeah,
And so that again goes out to like the collective experience, like we are the love. Like if we come back to ourselves, then that is what we're going to start to see outside, right? Instead
yeah,
of like what you said, you know, we are focusing so much on the external because we've been taught this is how we've been conditioned, right? This is what I
yeah,
mean about the disconnection. And so that we're not doing life wrong in any way, right? This isn't to shame anyone.
right,
It's more of just like it's an opportunity, right, to come back to ourselves. That if we want to see the change outside, it's about healing, right? So part of the revolution is to heal ourselves, to feel deeply, to connect to those parts in our shadows that we fear so much, because yes, they are scary, right? It
yeah,
is. It's not easy work, but it's once we start to like look at those shadows and also embrace them, right? Because they're part of us.
mm-hmm,
Like we all
mm-hmm,
have shadows. Like no one here is just like all love and light. Like
Yeah.
that's part of the human experience. Like we have shadows, and to embrace them and to connect with them and to love them, because
Yeah.
they are us. Like they are all us. Like we have everything within us.
Yeah. Woo. Wow. It's so beautiful how it all ties, and it brings me, I don't know if you, I feel like so much like I feel grounded right now, and it feels so
Mm-hmm.
good because I think like yeah, in our day to day, it's so easy to not feel this way. It's easy to forget everything that we've learned on this path, on this journey. And I know that those listening, like everyone has experienced a version of their awakening, of their healing. And I think it could almost feel like, well, why did I experience all this? Or sometimes for me, it's like I've tapped into this amazing love and peace that can exist on earth, but everything pulls us away from. And it almost feels unfair. Like, universe, why did you show me this? Universe, why did I get to feel
Mm-hmm.
this if now it feels like we're so far away from it, But I think I keep getting reminded that like our job is to funnel it down somehow, to ground it, integrate it, and then embody it, and move forward with it. So it almost sounds like you're kind of on a similar path where you're like embodying it for yourself and then helping others do the same through your work. So, how amazing. Thank you so much for being part of that mission, because I think it's so important. For everyone that's going on these paths that feels the disconnection, then feels I call it like we're glitching, we glitch in
Yeah,
and out of these
we
knowings.
are.
Uh, and so sometimes we need like that community, right? Like minded people, fellow first gens también that are like, hey, I've been there. I get you. I know sometimes you don't have words. I know sometimes it doesn't make sense, but I'm right here with you. So it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, you say it so beautifully. And I think too, to be gentle and compassionate with us, because it's not like we talk about how healing is like, it's not linear, right? And that,
Right.
again, like that connection that I have, and I like to see it as like, that connection to the universe, to God, to spirit. Um, there are moments when I move out of it, right? Like we just had the
Mm.
eclipse, and I was like, what happened? Like, why am I feeling like my old self, like
Yeah.
I but this is the beauty. It's like I recognized that I was disconnected, and it was like, okay, what
Mm.
am I being asked right now? Like what how can I get back? Because I was like, I need to get back to that place. And it was like, sometimes it's just to accept, to just really just
Mm.
sit with that discomfort of like, oh yeah, it's just doesn't feel good right now, right? It just
Yeah.
doesn't feel good right now. And when I did that, that also helped me to like just trust. Like I was in that discomfort, but in the trusting and the letting go and the surrendering, then I was able to then like get back to my connection. And
Mm-hmm.
connection is going to look different for all of us, right? Like for me, it's nature, like connecting to nature, connecting to the plants, to the elements, to the music, right? To the music that I hear when I'm in ceremony,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
connecting with like the people that bring me joy, like my nieces, my sisters, like even being around my mom and like knowing that she's still here, right? I still have a mom like that
Mm-hmm.
I can talk to, and I, like from her, as much as she can, she's going to
Mm-hmm.
give me a consejo, or she's going to say whatever is in her capacity to give me, and same thing
Yeah.
with my dad. And so I think just that disconnection happens, and that sometimes it's also serving a purpose. And so to not see it as bad, and then also like our connection is going to look different, and it's finding what do you
Yeah.
connect with, like through art, to for photography, through cooking, through running, whatever that is that allows you to connect to spirit, right? And like you
Yeah.
get to experience that wholeness.
Mm-hmm. And that it can change, because sometimes we try the same thing again. It's like, oh, I'm just not feeling it. So I like that you're naming like there's many different ways of connecting. It doesn't have to be the same every time. Um, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I have a session that I need to get to at 2:30, so I do have to wrap this episode up. I don't want to. It's so good.
Totally understand.
But thank you so much for sharing, and just the way you speak, by the way, it's really grounding, and like it gives, I don't know,
Mm.
at least for me, it transmits a lot of peace. So that's so beautiful, and I invite those of you listening, if you feel the same, like check out her work. Like we said, she also does, which I want to check out, like breath work sessions. And yeah, I'm interested. I know I've been following you for a long time, so, and I've been seeing, like, now that you've been more open about plant medicine, and that's been really cool to connect to. But yeah, I will make sure to link everything of Juriana's in the description of this episode. If there's anything else that you want to share, a little mensajito to fellow first gens.
Yeah, no, well, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to share my story, and allowing me the space, right? Holding space for me to be transparent. As therapists, we're trained to not share these very personal things. And I also think that part of the revolution is to start to connect to our humanity, right? That there isn't this
Yeah.
hierarchy of like therapist and client and all of that. And so I just thank you for creating the space,
Mm.
for holding me in something that I hadn't shared like publicly, right? And so
Yeah.
just thank you so much for what you do for all of us first gens.
Of course. It's my absolute pleasure. You don't even know, like, hearing your story, like I said, I got the chills. It's like, this is such powerful stuff. It doesn't always get a platform. There's not always somewhere, like, the right place to place it, you know? So I feel so lucky that sometimes this is it. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
All right, you guys. Well, if you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure. Ooh, I like to ask now, what question would you have asked Juliana that maybe I missed? Like, let us know in the comments or DM us, and make sure that you share this episode. I feel like so many people right now are awakening, are getting curious about plant medicine or connection to spirit and things like that. So please share this episode and subscribe to the podcast if you're not already. And remember, first gen, that I love you, I love me, and I can't wait for you to love yourself. Bye.
Bye.